Hi guys, welcome to this Money Control live stream. You're watching Opening Bell with me, Nandita Khemka. It's a Friday morning, and of course, we are celebrating the festival of Ganesha here, which is why this get up. But it's a sea of red across the screen. If you look at the global markets and even our markets for that matter, ended lower for a second straight day yesterday, and last night even Wall Street ended mixed with Dow and S&P in fact ending in the red. The employment report is something that the street will be watching out for keenly, and ahead of that we may feel some bit of jitter in the market today. Of course, lots of stocks in focus, the likes of Indigo Paints and a whole host of other stocks like Prestige Estates as well. Bharat Forge will also be in focus given the fact that the North America truck order sales figures have come out. So lots of stocks in focus, and of course all your stock related queries will also be in focus. If you have any queries, as usual, keep them coming in on our live feed on YouTube. We'll try and get them addressed. But before we move any further, let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. Up over 200 points as fears over the economy return amid weak private employment data. The street will be keenly watching out for August jobs data, which is due later tonight. Asian markets trade mixed following weak cues from Wall Street. The GIFT Nifty is suggesting a lower start for the Indian market. Of course, it's a 70-point cut on the GIFT Nifty as we speak right now. Crude futures tick higher as the OPEC delays production hikes scheduled for October by 2 months. Meanwhile, US inventories fell by nearly 7 million barrels last week. Well, let's take a look at the cues for trade then. Of course, the market did fail to hold on to opening gains yesterday. And in fact, we had a mixed close given the fact that the broader end of the markets were outperforming. But the benchmarks ended the day in the red. The Nifty, in fact, below that 25,150 mark. In fact, right now, when I look at the pre-open, the Nifty is below that 25,100 mark. Mid-cap outperformance kept the market breadth in favor of advances. The small-cap index was shining bright, gained somewhere around 1% or thereabouts. Aside of that, you had stocks like Hero and Titan. Those were some of the counters that saw buying interest yesterday among the top Nifty gainers. And FMCG companies, including Britannia and Nestle, were among the losers. In terms of option cues, the put-call ratio jumped to 1.33 vis-a-vis 1.08 in the previous session. In fact, there are some new entrants in the F&O ban list as well. Bandhan Bank, Biocon, as well as Chambal Fertilizers. These stocks will be in the F&O ban. And continuing to be in ban will be Aditya Birla Fashion, Balrampur Chini, Hindustan Copper, as well as RBL Bank. But on that note, let me bring on board our guest for today. Joining me is Raja Venkatraman, who is the co-founder of NeoTrader. Raja, great to have you on the show. The Nifty, of course, managed to, in fact, fail to hold on to opening gains yesterday. Today as well, it's looking like a weakish start. What is the kind of base you would be watching out for on the Nifty today? And if at all there is some bit of rebound, what is the level on the higher side or the resistance level that you will be watching out for on the index?
As usual, the markets giving us a very good start because that's been the scenario over the last two trading sessions. And yesterday we began with some promise, but then the promise quickly dissipated. And the reason being that there are certain gaps that have been formed lately, and that will continue to be a problem. So now when you take a look at the overall markets and the kind of news flows that are coming in, there are always going to be circumstances where we will try to wonder whether the markets are going to go up or they're going to come down, because coming down is a scenario where there is a consensus, but then there is no consensus on going up. But then I would like to state the contrary. I would like to use these dips to buy into. Unless 25,000 is broken decisively, I would not be a seller, because 25,000 to 24,900 are very, very important supports which I am targeting for the next few trading sessions. So based on my time cycle studies, I feel that the dip which we are seeing now could be a very important dip into the coming week. So I expect the market to rebound from here, and the next week is going to be an encouraging month. So probably next week when we meet, I'm definitely hoping and having a more promising outlook for the markets. Now, why I am so positive about the markets overall is because Bank Nifty, if you observe, Bank Nifty has been holding on to the higher levels, and that has been not giving up the higher gains. Now, Bank Nifty was never in the limelight. Bank Nifty has now stepped into the limelight. So that augurs well for the market as a whole because banks are invading other sectors as well. So now when banks are going to perform, all the associated sectors are going to perform. So that means that the market is going to revive from lower levels. Yes, there is some bit of uncertainty, but I'm sure that over the next week it will get resolved. And I believe that the dips which we are seeing now should be used to buy into. On the lower side, it's 24,900. On the upside, it is 25,500. This is going to be a range for the next few days, but then I expect the markets to move ahead. And on the Bank Nifty, I expect a cross above 51,500. So I'm waiting for this a small tightish range around 51,000 on the lower side, 51,500 on the upside to be a contentious area. Once 51,500 is crossed, we can expect target towards 53,000 in Bank Nifty.
Okay, I expect a target of 53,000 on the Bank Nifty once the crucial levels are crossed, and of course a bullish view coming in for the next week on the markets. But talking about some stocks in focus, I want to get in your thoughts on an Indigo Paints, given the fact that paint stocks have been in focus. Crude has fallen quite a bit. Brent is below that $74, $73 a barrel mark. And paint companies, of course, have been reacting along with the OMCs as well. But Indigo Paints is one counter that's in focus today, given the fact that, there's been or there will be a block deal in the counter. Peak 15 Partners, erstwhile Sequoia, has launched a 750 to 800 crore rupee block deal to sell somewhere around 11% stake. That's according to sources. The floor price for the block deal is at 1470 rupees per share, which was which is at a discount of almost 5% to yesterday's close price. Now, Peak 15 currently holds somewhere around 25% stake in the stock. But looking at Indigo Paints, good traction, of course, on the back of a drop in crude prices. If there is a dip or sizable dip in the stock prices today, should that be a trading opportunity or an opportunity to accumulate for a positional play?
Yeah, so the movement in Indigo Paints has been quite lethargic if you see over the last 1.5 years. So now, if I were to form an opinion about investing into it, this would not be a right time. So it could be more of a 2 to 3 day play. I would wait for the levels of 1500 to be crossed with decisiveness. So I would wait for the end of the day. If it's holding above 1500, then targets towards 2000 is opening up. So I would wait for the end of day closing above 1500 for me to take any decision on Indigo Paints. But overall, setup is looking encouraging. It is looking to come out of its long consolidation. So it should definitely be on your tracking list.
Okay, for a 2 to 3 day play, Indigo Paints should be on your tracking list. The next stock that's on my radar is the Prestige Estates. The company is raising somewhere around 5,000 crore rupees via a QIP issue. Price is at 1,674 rupees per share. In the last 6 months, Prestige Estates, along with the entire realty pack, has seen very good traction. We've seen a 50% up move on Prestige Estates. 1,800 is where the stock is at. Should one play it with targets of somewhere around 2,000?
Yeah, again, this stock is in a similar scenario. After the highs which we saw in June, the stock has actually seen some profit booking, and there is going to be some more consolidation which I anticipate in the stock. So this will not be a right time to enter Prestige Estate. We should wait for a few more days, probably around 1800 is the level which I am targeting for it to exceed. So once it crosses 1800 and holds above it, then 1800 to 1850 is a very important selling area over the last 1 to 2 months. So I would not advise going long at this juncture. Wait for this zone to cross, and then you could see an upside towards 2200 within the next 3 months.
Okay, that's the view then. Wait for a bit, but it's 9:12 on the clock. Just about 2.5 minutes to go for the opening bell. Raja, what would you be recommending, for our viewers in terms of stock picks?
Yeah, so the first up I would recommend from the sector that has been showing promise steadily over the last 1 month, that is IT. So I would like to recommend a buy in Persistent. The stock has been performing quite well, and it's holding on to the higher levels, and every dip is being bought into. So one should look to buy at above 50 to 90 with a stop below 50 to 50 for a target towards 53.80. And another stock I would like to recommend from the mid and small cap space, which is GLS, Glenmark Life Science, which is doing quite well. It went through a long phase of consolidation, and the stock has broken out about 1,000, and it's holding on to those levels, and steadily there is buying interest emerging. So one can look to buy at current levels with a stop loss below 1075 for a target towards 1125.
Okay, those are the recommendations coming in from Raja. But Raja, there has been a report on SBI. The stock has been downgraded by Goldman Sachs to sell, and the target price has been cut to below 800, 742 rupees from 841 rupees per share. Now, Goldman Sachs has flagged off multiple headwinds ahead for the stock, given the fact that return on assets, according to Goldman Sachs, is peaking out, and valuation derating could be likely for the stock going forward, and the risk reward profile, according to Goldman, is turning unfavorable due to headwinds to return on asset. So in terms of SBI, it's quoting at 811 at the current juncture. Would you also expect the stock to fall below 800?
The way the banking scenario is placed, it's quite in a touch and go situation. So, and the prices are definitely holding out in the hope of a revival here, based on some cues emerging from the RBI. But nevertheless, the market seems to be having a neutral stance to SBI at the moment. So, trading or investing, it's an avoid from my side. Yes, there are going to be brokerage reports because these are some bank nifty movers, but then we got to see the overall situation as well, and even if it moves below 800, there would definitely be buyer available in this particular stock. So one should not be in a hurry to sell SBI because it's actively traded, and I do not like to short stocks that are usually patronized by the FIs, because at dips these stocks definitely get bought into.
Okay, that's the view on an SBI. But as we speak, the markets have opened up, and SBI is the top laggard on the Nifty, 1.5% down for this particular stock. The Nifty per se is down somewhere around 30 points or thereabouts, so no big cut coming in. Of course, we were around that 25,100 mark, but we've managed to defend that so far. The mid cap index, has started the day in the positive zone, but the bank Nifty is down somewhere around 200 points or thereabouts, 51,300. That's where the bank Nifty is at right now. But in terms of other sectors, I want to see what the IT pack is doing because IT has been seeing good traction, and today as well, it's up somewhere around 0.3%. In terms of some other sectoral movers, the Nifty Realty pack is holding out smartly, 0.4% kind of gain coming in there. Autos, banks, FMCG is also in a spot of bother today, and so is the metal pack. So all in all, it's an okay start. We were expecting a start in the red, and in tandem with what the global markets are doing, we have started on the back foot. Of course, the crucial data point to watch out for will be the US non-farm payroll report for the month of August that comes out tonight. Ahead of that, there could be some bit of jitters that would weigh in on investors' minds. But Monday is when we will really be reacting to the data point coming out of US, because that will also provide some clarity on what the Fed would do in the September meeting, whether or not it would cut rates by 25 basis points or 50 basis points. So that is something that would provide some bit of clarity on that front. But in terms of individual movers, then, as I mentioned, SBI top laggard, almost 2% down now. ICICI Bank is a close second, 0.5% lower for that stock. Some of the cement names that have been seeing good traction in the recent past have come under some bit of profit booking. So Ultratech Cement, that stock is down almost 0.6%. NTPC and some metal names are also under pressure. The likes of Tata Steel, Hindalco, they are among the losers. Titan, that was the top gainer yesterday, 3.5% gain on the Nifty yesterday. Today, some bit of profit taking there. On the flip side, you have Bajaj Finance. That stock is doing well. Remember, Bajaj Housing IPO opens up on the 9th of September. LTI Mindtree top Nifty gainer. BPCL continues to do well. IndusInd Bank, Bajaj Finserv, TCS, Tech Mahindra, they are holding out in the green, and so is Asian Paints. 25,100, we are managing to defend that level as of now. Raja, do you think the texture will remain a little bit of sideways today, looking at the open now?
Yeah, definitely. Once again, we have begun with a gap down. So the gaps which are being seen right now. So the earlier gap resistance was around 28, 25, 350. Now the next gap resistance which has come down is around 24,250. So now first up, what should happen? First up, Nifty should cross 25,250. I'm saying the futures. So if that were to happen towards the close of the day, one should consider that the shorts which have got introduced at higher levels are looking to cover up. And then we can expect some positive traction towards the close of the day. So I would be keenly tracking this level. And at the moment, I would wait for the first half an hour for the market to settle down, because I'm in no great hurry to, form an opinion, because the markets have definitely been inconclusive, be it as a gap up or be it as a gap down. So I would wait a while, and normally I like to wait for the first 30 minutes to see if the market is settling down before I conclude. But then the levels continue to hold on, and 25,000 will be an important zone which I consider in the next few days.
Okay, 25,000 will be an important zone. So, of course, watch out for that. But Mrs. Bector, this stock is in focus given the fact that the company has launched its QIP to raise 400 crore rupees. The stock has been doing fairly well, Raja. In the last 1 month, we've seen a 24% uptick. So, within this QSR, kind of space, would you look at Mrs. Bector's right now, or would you say Jubilant Food is looking better from a risk-reward perspective?
See, when you talk about the FMCG space, they are definitely amongst the defensive plays, and over the last few days, they have come into contention. And the reason being that the other sectors are not performing, barring some little bit movement from the IT. So one should look for some plays on the defensive plays, and ensure that they are able to take some money off the table. But then the current market scenario is that money is available only for a limited time on the table. So if one is expecting large moves on either side, they are not going to be rewarded. So it's best to keep booking profits, because the markets are definitely uncertain. And the uncertainty right now is emerging from the global cues. So one should keep track of the global cues and act accordingly. Trade light, but do trade. That's my motto right now.
Okay, trade light but do trade. That's Raja's motto, and you can take a leaf out of what he's saying. But Raja, hold that thought. We'll come back and address your queries as well. But let me also bring on board our next guest for today. Joining me is Feroze Azeez, who's the deputy CEO at Anand Rathi Wealth. Feroze, great to have you on the show, chatting with you after a long time. Some risks on the horizon when it comes to the global landscape, right? So at such a time, is it time to hold some cash, take some profits out of the table, or would you say that it's time to remain on the sidelines and wait for some clarity to emerge when it comes to the Fed's rate trajectory? How should one approach this market? Feroze, is my voice reaching you? Okay, we'll get back to Feroze in just a bit. I think there is some bit of an audio issue with him. But Raja, let's start with a couple of queries that we are getting this morning. I want to start with the Sirca Paints. We've already discussed Indigo Paints and the paint sector per se. But Prajay wants to know your thoughts on Sirca Paints in particular for the medium term. He holds 220 shares at the rate of 326 rupees per share. He wants to know if the current level is or he wants to know whether he should add more at current levels. Would you advise?
Sorry, I didn't get your the stock name. Asian Paints, you said?
No, Sirca Paints. Sirca.
Okay. All right. So this particular stock has moved in a very range bound situation, and when you're looking at trading this counter, So you got to accept that there is going to be some range bound situation for few more days. So it is better that we ensure that we are able to hold on to this counter for it depends on your holding capacity, but the overall trends are looking positive and one can continue to hold on as the trends are going to pick up in the mid and small cap. So you will see a rise in this particular stock in the next few days.
Okay, that's the view coming in on Sirca Paints. Hope that answers your query. The next query is coming in on Patel Engineering. This one is coming in from Sai Prashant. He wants to know the medium term target on this particular stock. The stock has done okay in the last 1 month, almost a 9% kind of gain, but the 6-month returns are showing negative 8%. The stock is trading at 58 rupees, quite, some time away from its 52-week highs. So Patel Engineering, would it catch your fancy, and what would be the medium term target here?
Uh, right now, Patel Engineering does not call for any further additional investment. The stock is going through a phase of consolidation, and that should be the range, that should be the course of action for the next few weeks till it is able to cross around 65 levels. So I would not advise further addition. And if it moves below 52, it would be a case for exit.
Okay, no further action in Patel Engineering. Hope that addresses your query. But the next query is coming in on an Infosys. Trading with slight cuts, the stock has given negative returns in the 5 days. Intermittent bouts of buying and some bit of selling pressure also coming in, in between. But in the last 1 month, the stock has given a 10% return. And this morning I was reading a report from a global brokerage which said that there's no, it's not the time to cut your overweight positions on IT. Would you concur, given the fact that we are inching towards a Fed rate cut, which bodes well for some of these IT giants? Is it time to remain overweight and perhaps use these dips to buy some of these names, large cap IT names?
Yeah, see, Infi right now is trading at its Jan 22 high. So it definitely is in a very, very good spot. But then at this juncture, one also has to consider how much of money are you making. And if you're making some money, it's better to book some and add the same quantity back at lower levels. And the lower levels would be closer towards 1800. So this would be a strategy if I were to be having Infosys right now, because it is at a very crucial resistance zone.
Okay, that's the view on Infosys. But the next query is coming in from Debu K. He wants to know your thoughts on Reliance Industries post the bonus announcement. Is it the right time to invest? What would you advise?
Yeah, Reliance has been discussed in all our meets, and I only have one view to say that Reliance is not a stock for generating some quick return. If you are willing to hold this stock for the next 5 years, then you will see your money, generating around 25 to 30%. Otherwise, it's a very slow mover, and at the current juncture, it's not time to add the additional, the adding or the further addition to your portfolio should be around the region of only at around 2750 to 2800 zone.
Okay, that's the view then. But the next query is coming in from Sri Vardhan Gupta. He wants to know your thoughts on SEPC. For the medium and long term, he has 50,000 shares at 16 levels. And the stock is right now at 30 rupees, SEPC Limited. What would you advise him? Should he take some profits off the table?
Yeah, the way it's moving right now, it definitely augurs well for the prices, and it looks like it should go towards the next target zone, which is around 36 and then 40. But then the kind of rounding pattern breakout which is seen, it's clearly evident that the move could escalate further. And at the moment, it is nearing towards its immediate target, which is I mentioned around 35. After that, around that, when it nears that zone, you can book some profits, and then you can trail your stop loss and continue to hold on, because the setup is looking quite encouraging.
Okay, that's the view. I hope this answers your query. The next one is coming in from Satya CK, wants to know your thoughts on Uno Minda and the target price for the next 1 year. He's been holding the shares at 600 rupees, so he's making good profits here. But in the last 1 month, Uno Minda has gained almost 20%. But I think in the last 5 sessions or so, it has lost some bit of steam or momentum, so to say. What should he do? Should he add more or look at accumulating more? And what would be the 1 year target here?
Yeah, this is not a time to exit, but it's definitely also not the time to add to your portfolio. So one should await to add if any, depending on the capital available, is above 1190. So above 1190 would be a good opportunity for you to add into this stock, because you will get a nice thrust, and the targets that are emerging are closer towards 1300 and 1350.
Okay, that's a view on Uno Minda. Couple of more queries then. This one is coming in from Altaf Hussain. He wants to know your thoughts on some of these defense stocks, Mazgaon Dock, Cochin, Shipyard, GRSE, HAL. Of course, we've had government green lighting some procurements because of which we saw good traction. But do you think after a 15 to 20% correction from their all-time highs, it's a good time to look at these stocks, risk-reward wise? How are these stocks looking like?
Yeah, so the defense space has been in play over the last so many months, and many of us who participated have definitely enjoyed the runaway move. Now, those who are caught up in the last few weeks with the defense play should consider exiting, because like the likes of Cochin Shipyard or even Mazgaon Dock doesn't seem to be very encouraging. And at such point in time, I would not advise a buy into these names. Even the big ones like HAL or BEL, there are news flows that are pointing towards some positive tailwind. But then ultimately, any kind of news flow should translate into price action, and that's not seen at the moment. So I would not be a buyer into the defense play right now.
Okay, that's the view on the defense pack. Then, want to get in your thoughts on Equinox India development. This query has come in from Raja Pasala. He wants to know whether there is any chance of an up move on the charts in the near future. If you track this stock, what are the charts really suggesting here?
So right now, at the moment, the charts continue to emit mixed response, and I would like to maintain this to be an avoid, because at the current moment there are not positive triggers emerging as far as the news flow, nor the kind of action which we are expecting to see in this particular stock. So it's best to stay away. If you're holding on, continue to hold on, but then further addition is not advised.
Okay, that's the view. Want to quickly get in a query on Tube Investments from Madhukar. Wants to know your thoughts. He's bought it at 4,150, and he wants to know whether it should be averaged at current levels.
Not at all. Tube investments are caught in a bind, and I am waiting based on the price action for some movement to be seen here. So overall, the prospects remain encouraging, and one can continue to hold on. But then addition at this current juncture is not advised.
Okay, that's the view. I hope that answers your query. The next one rather, is coming in from Pon Rajesh. Wants to know your thoughts on a Vijaya Diagnostics. I think he's making a 30% profit. He wants to know whether he should hold on or should he book profits.
Yeah, the stock is in an excellent position, but then based on the kind of momentum which it is in, there are signs of profit booking that are emerging, and it would be best that one should book some profits at least, so that after seeing a rise so much, one is able to encash the momentum.
Okay, that's about Vijaya then. But the next query is coming in on, I think this one's coming in on Inox Wind. The query is coming in from Utsav Jain, wants to know what should be a short sell target? He's entered Inox Wind at 225 rupees.
Yeah, so currently the momentum in Inox Wind on a short-term basis is emerging around 240 to 250.
Okay, that's the view then. Okay, then I think just a couple of more queries before we wrap up the show. Satvika wants to know your thoughts on a Rama Steel Tubes. Uh, here, what would the targets be on the higher side, Raja?
So this stock is moving very swiftly, and especially it's a two-digit stock. So one should be stay advised that here profit booking also comes very swiftly. So if you have entered at the right time, then the exit point is emerging at around 17 to 17.5. Otherwise, one should not be entering the stock right now.
Okay, that's the view then. The last query for the day really. Pratap wants to know your thoughts on Tata Power. It's trading with cuts of 0.6%. Last 5 days hasn't really done much. 1 month as well. So the stock has been pretty sideways over the last 1 month at least. Would you keep some bit of what kind of support levels would you be expecting on this counter, because it has been going downhill for the last 1 month at least?
Yeah, there were a lot of expectations from Tata Power, but then the expectations has not really materialized over the last 4 to 5 months, and I believe that the expectations are beginning to give away, and the giveaway point which I would track is around 402. So below 402, the next support level is quite steep at around 362. So I would not be entering Tata Power definitely right now, but then if I am holding Tata Power, the levels are around 405 to 400 would be an important support that we should be tracking in Tata Power.
Okay, take note of those levels that Raja just mentioned, and of course, let's also take up a couple of more queries since they have just come in. So Mendigar wants to know your thoughts on whether or not he should sell Ircon and RVNL. He's sitting on a 10% profit on both of these counters.
See, the if you're making money, like I mentioned right at the start of the show, that one should be booking them rather than waiting for some huge profits, because this entire year the markets has not rewarded huge profits. It has given profits in bursts. So that would be my advice. If you're making money, exit. Otherwise, look for lower levels to buy into RVNL, because now is not the right time, where the momentum is seen slipping, and the support levels are emerging only closer towards 450 to 475.
Okay, that's the view. Last query really for the day. Kartikeya Singh wants to know your thoughts on at what level one should really enter Newland Labs for the long term. This stock has given a 20% return in the last 1 month, quoting at 12,857. Do you think it merits entry right now, or would you ask investors or traders to wait it out for a bit before getting in?
Yeah, I missed the name. Can you just repeat the name?
Newland Labs.
Newland Lab. Okay, okay. Newland Lab, like the entire pharma space, has been moving the pharma and even the hospitality management and the overall pathology sector. So the entire pharma and associated sectors per se, the micro sectors, they have all been doing well. So Newland Lab is in a good trajectory. One can definitely hold on. It looks more promising, and from here, based on the kind of projections which I'm expecting, a target towards 14,000 to 14,500 is expected within the next 3 months.
Okay, that's about Newland Labs then. But with that, we've come to the end of the query segment and of course, end of the show as well. But Raja, I would like to thank you for taking out time and joining in and sharing your thoughts with us. Of course, look forward to interacting with you again next Friday with a whole host of stock recommendations and all our viewer queries as well. Thanks for helping them navigate their holdings. But wish you a very happy weekend and a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi as well. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, same to you and your viewers. Bye.
Thank you. Well, with that, let's take a look at what the markets are really doing at the current juncture. Okay, we've broken below that 25,100 mark, 70 points lower on the index, and the Sensex as well, has broken below that 82,000 mark, 270 points lower for the Sensex. The mid-cap index, which was holding out in the green till now, by the way, has also slipped into the red, and the Nifty Bank index below that 51,300 mark now. In terms of movers, some of the IT names are doing well. SBI is the big laggard today, given the fact that Goldman Sachs has downgraded the stock and in fact even cut the target price below that 800 level. All in all, it was an expected, a muted open. We are trading with a negative bias, but let's see how the day really progresses and how we manage to close the day. But of course, I'll see you at 3:30 p.m. once again with the market close and some of the stocks that will be on our. Bye from me and the entire team that put the show together. Have a great trading day and come back and join us in that.